Okay.
Let's say, you know how sometimes you will get very bad intermediate blood samples, right?
Sure.
Okay, you know how some people need like very special kinds of blood because like their immune system will react very badly?
Okay.
Let's imagine for a moment a person who can, they have very special blood. They can only get blood from one person. They have the same blood group as me. There's no one else who can give them blood. They need my blood, and they're a human being.
Your wife too old to have sex, but so she can have her baby.
Well, he can't take it by force.
Okay. Can you guys stay in sorry.
I don't know why you come in the first place while we're mourning someone. Shame on you for coming here. Shame on you for coming here while we're mourning
Because that's the normal process of growing as a human. The injured knee or whatever with the blood thing, that's an abnormal circumstance in the human life.
What is the relevance of normality to law? What is the relevance? I mean, like, glasses, eye contacts aren't normal. Like, that street light isn't a normal object. This building is not normal things are all around.
Because God has created us to grow inside the bodies of our mothers, right? And so God says, "Thou shalt not murder." So when you intentionally kill somebody who's living in the first stages of life who needs to live there, that's a murder, right?
I mean, no, murder's a legal construct. Murder is what murder is a
unjust killing of a human being, right? The intentional unjust killing of a human being.
No, murder is a legal construct. For example, if you shoot a soldier in wartime, someone could argue that that was unjust, but you still have not committed a murder because murder is a legal construct.
Well, I mean, if you killed somebody in a war that was an unjust war, that would be murder.
Shame on you for coming here when we're trying to
that's a subjective argument of what is and isn't just. But insofar as murder is defined, it's a legal construct. Murder is what a sovereign body defines as murder within its jurisdiction. For example, I am a Jew. If I had lived in Germany in the 1940s and they had killed me, that technically, unfortunately, would not have been murder. Murder is a legal construct.
And I will say this again. If you don't know English, please do not listen. If you do not got a universe, you do not have opinion. Okay?
Well, I mean, every governmental system is a theocracy because every government has a highest authority that people bow down to, and that's their God.
We don't live in North Korea, we don't live in Iran, we don't live in Saudi Arabia, we live in the United States of America, and the people that decide our laws are right over there.
Right. You bow to humans and you make them your little gods who come up with the morality for you.
What I do is I elect them, and I make sure that they appoint people to that court, and
choose
that's
your
what I'm
gods to make up a morality for you.
It's North Korea that doesn't let a person speak. Let him speak.
Am I stopping?
It's fine. We're having a dialogue. You choose them. They create their own morality, their own system of justice.
And then I get to choose them again if I don't like it. That's a democracy.
And when their system of morality is in rebellion against God's system of morality, they don't have a system of morality anymore because God's system is the only one that matters because that's going to judge their system on Judgment Day.
I promise you, I have studied constitutional law. I promise you, this is not how con law works. I'm going to law school next year. I promise you. But you will get laughed out of con law class if you talk this way.
Right, because they don't obey the law of God. They don't care about God's law.
Because we live in a republic. That's why.
You live in a secular humanistic theocracy in which man is worshipped.
I live in a secular republic where I don't think we're humanists by any means, but we are secular.
Well, you worship humans, right? By bowing down to what they say after you choose them. Right?
I'm a Jew as it happens.
You choose certain humans to obey, and what they decide is wrong
I've
is what
been
you go with, right?
I've been arrested in civil disobedience. I don't necessarily obey them, but I know what the law is, and sometimes I choose to break it.
But that's how it operates in our society. We choose certain people who create a morality for us, and then we say, okay, we're going to obey them.
They create law.
Right, the laws are their form of morality. They say what you can and can't do. What's okay to do and what's not okay to do.
They say what the state will punish you for doing.
Right,
I've done things that are against the law. I've smoked a joint. That's illegal.
That's part of morality. They're coming up with new sins against the state, new sins against other people that they think they can punish people for. That's their morality they've created. Like they've made it a sin to like drive too fast on a certain piece of road, right?
What they've said is you're going to hit someone if you drive too fast on a piece of road, and in the interest of people not getting hit by fucking cars, we're going to make it illegal.
Right. They're trying to reduce risk, but that's not the government's job. The government's job is to punish people after there's already been a victim.
I disagree. I'm a social contract theorist. I've read Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Okay, you reject the law of God. That's your problem. That's why this doesn't make sense to you, because you're not going with what God says. You're going with what humans say.
I'm a Jewish atheist. No
okay,
shit.
So you go with what humans say instead of what God says.
Well, no. Sometimes I don't go with what humans say. Sometimes I try to change the laws. Sometimes I'll break laws. I've been arrested in that building.
Right. But you're choosing to make it some other thing created by another human or yourself.
Yes,
As humans,
yeah,
either way.
we gotta look
Right?
out for each other. Dude, I love you. I want you to do well in this world. I'm looking out for you because I know that nobody else will. Maybe these people will, but at the end of the day, we're gonna look out for you.
But why should we look out for each other if God doesn't exist? And if morality is subjective.
That's what scares me about you. Even though I love you, that's what scares me about people
But
like
where
you.
does morality
Because
come
why
from?
would you look out for me? If you think there's a God, why would you look out for me? I'm looking out for you because there isn't one.
Because God
we gotta look out for each other.
created you in His image, and I
Well,
want.
dude, I was created in a lab as it happens, actually.
Well, you're still, because you're a human being, you're created
Thank
in the
you.
image
Hey,
of God.
test tube babies. Let's
You,
go.
you still have the image of God because you're a human. That's just the nature of being a human.
Yeah, dude, I promise you, theologies aside, we are standing in front of the Supreme Court, and we have a First Amendment, and it says that a Sunni theocrat can't make laws for the United States. A Protestant, I don't know if you're Protestant or a Catholic
Yes,
or
I'm a
whatever.
Protestant.
All right. Yeah, you can't make laws based on your religion. You can get elected to Congress and go and make laws, but if those laws are based on your religion, they're going to go up there. And I promise you, not just the late Ginsburg, but Roberts and Alito and even Kagan and everyone else, they're going to reject those laws,
Right.
even on an 8-person court, and hopefully 9 soon enough.
But they're already operating according to their own religion, the religion of man worship, the religion of doing what humans say instead of what God says.
Well,
That's
again,
their own
sometimes-
religion.
we live in a society, dude. I don't mean to quote Batman.
That's why everything is a theocracy, because everybody's treating something as an ultimate authority that they look to,
No, again,
that
it's
they
not
bow
ultimate.
down to.
Sometimes, and you can read it in our Declaration of Independence. Look, I'm an American. You seem fundamentally anti-American because you know what you do when you believe your society is strayed too far from justice? You overthrow it. You don't pray,
I
you
want the law of
overthrow
God.
it.
I want the law of God in society. His law instead of humans' laws.
Wait, then why don't you go join fucking ISIS? They have a law of God.
No, because ISIS doesn't obey the law of God.
Really?
And the
Really?
law of God.
They tell me they obey the law of God. Why should I believe you and not them? They tell me that they're obeying the laws of Allah, which is just the Arabic
right.
word for God.
Right.
Why should I believe you and not them?
Why? Well, because the Quran contradicts itself, and their holy book can't be trusted.
Dude, I've read the Bible cover to cover. Don't get me started on this shit. But I don't speak that good Arabic, so I will admit I haven't read the Quran. But the translations are just the translations sometimes. But my point is, look, ISIS says they follow the law of God. The Tamil Tigers down in Sri Lanka, they say they follow the law
Right,
of
but
God.
they don't. It's in the Bible. It's right there in the Bible. You can look at it.
Yeah, there's
Do
a
they
bunch
do
of
it or
folks.
not?
There's a bunch of folks over in Utah saying they follow the law of God. It was written down by a guy from fucking Rochester.
Well, no. So how do you know things about reality? How do you know that your consciousness is not deceiving you right now?
Are you asking me just the Cartesian demon question? Because again, this is not difficult philosophy.
No, wait. How do you justify beliefs in your worldview?
Wait, again, this is just Rene Descartes. This is what Rene Descartes did 350
yeah. So it's
years ago.
important. It's important
Yeah.
to talk about.
How
How do
do
you
I justify
justify
beliefs?
beliefs in your worldview?
Okay, well, je pense donc je suis, first of all. Beyond I'm thinking and I am real, we can agree. I am existing and I am thinking about the fact that I exist.
Wait, how do you know that I is thinking? Maybe it could be we. How do you know the different parts of your consciousness?
Are you a Buddhist?
Maybe.
Are you a Buddhist?
Wait. Maybe the different components of your consciousness belong to different entities, and maybe it's we. Maybe they come together to make it look like
Yeah,
I.
maybe.
You just assume it's I,
And
but
maybe you're
it's we.
not. And maybe
Okay.
and maybe all of these people are figments of my imagination. Yes.
Yeah, how do you know? You
It's
can't-
called that's called epistemic doubt. But at the end of the day, I'm not a hard solipsist.
Well, you're putting
So-
blind faith in limited consciousness for truth. I put my faith in the unlimited consciousness of God to reveal truth to me. Because
Yeah.
I need that. That's the only way to
Yeah.
justify beliefs.
Yeah, again, you think there's a book in front of you. You know that there is a book in front of you because, you see it. At some point, we do say, in general, we rely upon the accuracy of our senses to feed data back into the world. Now, we could be an hallucination, but I would contend to you that this is irrelevant. That even if we are in a simulation, even if the steak in front of us is not real, the steak still tastes good. The steak, we still have an interest in things, even if they may be a simulation, being as perceptually desirable to us as possible. Even if they're not real. Even if none of us are real, I will live in a comfortable simulation rather than an uncomfortable one.
But you're giving
Even
up,
if they're
but you're
not
giving
real.
up truth. But in the biblical worldview, we trust in what God says. We can justify our beliefs in that our perceptions are right.
Dude, I'm a STEM major. I deal in models. I don't deal in truth. Come on.
No. Well, so you don't deal with truth. You don't.
I deal in models that make accurate predictions about the data that we get from measurements.
Well, how do you know they're accurate predictions?
I don't. I don't care if they're accurate to a truth. I care if they're accurate to a model.
Okay, but how do you know the models exist? How do you know the models aren't a hallucination in your consciousness?
I don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in the biblical worldview, we can justify beliefs because we put faith in what God says
Yeah.
about reality, and
Why
we're,
should I-
we're trusting in unlimited
Why would I-
consciousness
yeah,
and
why
not
would
limited
I-
consciousness.
Why would I
right?
prefer that, though? Why would I prefer
Because
that?
that can justify beliefs.
Why would I prefer justifying beliefs over
So
accurate
you
models?
don't think you should have justified beliefs?
I think that you look. This is
You
just
should- you
presupposition.
shouldn't have justified
dude,
beliefs?
Dude, you're just doing presuppositionalism. It's
Right,
2014.
right.
Get a new grip.
Presuppositional apologetics.
Yeah,
right?
dude,
And you
get a
can't
new
defeat
grip.
it. You can't answer it. You have no defense
I
for
can
your
say
worldview
I have a
because
model.
it
I'll
falls
give you an
flat on
example.
its face.
I'll give you an example. Do you know who Clyde Tombaugh is?
No.
Clyde Tombaugh was the person who discovered Pluto. He discovered it in 1920. I'll give you an example. We know the orbital period of Pluto is roughly 300 and change years. Do you know how we know that?
Not
And
sure.
take in mind, we have seen Pluto for just about coming up on 100 years. We know that Pluto has existed. We know its orbital period is 300 years, even though we've never seen Pluto go around the sun. How do you think we know that Pluto's orbital period is roughly 300 and change years?
I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion.
All right. Do you know who Edmund Hooke is?
No.
All right. Do you know who Isaac Newton is?
Yes.
All right. Do you know the stuff that they worked together to discover?
Not what they worked together to discover.
All right. Do you know who Johannes Kepler is?
I've learned about him.
All right. Do you know what one of the things Johannes Kepler discovered is? It was relation to Pluto and all of this.
Okay,
And
I know
this
he's
is just
some
going
kind
to the
of
basics
astrologist, right?
I know astronomer.
Not astronomy.
Very early astronomer. There's something called Kepler's laws. They were ways of predicting how the planets moved around the sun.
Okay.
And the point is that we can use those, and we can do a very good, fancy bit of math, and we can predict not only where Pluto is right now, but where it'll be in a month, where it'll be 2 months from now, where it's going to be 300 years from now. It allows us to predict things like eclipses. It allows us to predict things
What is
like
your
the
point?
tides. My point is, these all come from models of how things move around in relation to each other,
Yeah,
and
but
we
that's
aren't
meaningless.
certain, about them.
Right.
We aren't certain, but
in your worldview.
but they've worked pretty good so far, and so we're going to keep going with them. There's no satellites out right now; it's a little too sunny. But when those satellites come out there, do you know you have a phone, right?
Yeah.
That phone has a GPS on it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why that phone's GPS isn't off by a good couple miles? It's because of a man named Albert Einstein, who did another fantastic bit of math and came up with a model of how things move that was a good bit more accurate than Isaac Newton. He found out Newton was wrong about a few things.
And all of his
And the
meanings.
point is, I mean, it's meaningless if you don't get to work on time because your phone doesn't know where you are.
Well, no, but you don't know that the phone exists. You don't know that the models exist.
But I know-
because
but
that
I
could
know
all
that
be
I-
hallucinations in a consciousness, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
let's say for the sake of
Okay.
argument, these are all hallucinations.
Yeah.
These are all
Right.
hallucinations.
You have no idea that
Yeah.
it exists.
Yeah,
Right?
I would prefer to be hallucinating that I get to work on time than to hallucinate that I am late.
Okay, so you still can't know truth in your worldview. You've
Yeah,
given up
why-
knowledge in your
why
own
is this
worldview.
why
You
is that
put blind-
problematic?
you
Why
put-
is that problematic?
Because you're putting faith in limited consciousness, and you can't justify your beliefs.
Yeah,
but
why
in
is-
the,
again,
but the Christian, in the Christian worldview,
You, again,
you can,
you
right?
failed to explain
You
why
should-
this is advantageous. What is the advantage?
Because you can have knowledge,
Why is
justify
that
true
advantageous?
belief. You
Why
can
is that-
justify your beliefs in the Christian
and
worldview.
why is that advantageous?
Why is it advantageous to justify beliefs?
Yes,
That's
why is it
basically
to
asking
justify
why.
them absolutely as opposed to with epistemic doubt?
Because
Why is
that's
that
how you come to truth.
Yeah, and why is truth advantageous?
So you're saying, why is it good to come to truth?
Why is it good to come to truth as opposed to a model with some measure of epistemic doubt?
Because I care about knowing what's true. If you don't care about knowing what's true, then you're an absurd person and you've got a problem. But I care about the truth.
I care about
a lot of
knowing-
people care about
I
the
care
truth.
about knowing
if
what
you
I
don't,
can
If you
predict.
don't, that's your problem.
I care about knowing what I can predict with a relative degree of verifiable
But
accuracy.
you can't predict it
For
because
example,
you don't know that
dude,
the future is going to be like the past.
Do you know how, dude, the camera that took this image, it wasn't a little pinhole camera. It was a camera that worked upon the models that I am talking about, not the ones that you are talking
But you
about.
don't know that the camera exists, so that's all meaningless.
Wait, is your sign meaningless? Your sign isn't meaningless. It is taking an image of a thing.
Right.
Meaning
Because
is
the
in
Christian
view-
worldview is true. Because God created us with minds
no, I
and
mean-
a sense of reality and
I
did
mean,
not
the
give us
camera-
hallucinations all the time.
I mean,
and to
again,
not
you
give
don't,
us bad
you
perceptions
don't
of reality,
know, I mean,
right?
you don't know that.
No, I do know it because I couldn't know anything unless it was true. That's the proof that it's
Yeah,
true.
but I'm saying you don't absolutely know anything.
Yes, I do.
You have beliefs. You can verify those beliefs to certain levels of certainty, but none of them are 100%. It's
No.
basic principle of
I
statistics.
100% know
It's a
that God
basic-
exists.
Do you know
Yeah.
if this virus is fake or real? Do you know that?
Well, I mean, it is real. There is a real virus.